What we see as culture is only the visible outcome of the effort and pains that have gone. Culture evolves through the actions leaders take, the consequences they create, and the traditions that follow. You want to copy the good culture of another organization without understanding what lies beneath the surface. How do you judge the culture of an organization? Well, most of us are going to go by what we see visibly. How do the people react to each other? What is the response of the organization's team? What is the energy in a conference room with the organization? How things are happening in an organization? Or simply put, we can say that we would define the way we look at culture by what we see as happening in an organization. In fact, a couple of episodes back, I had shared with you a simplistic definition of culture as culture being the way things happen in an organization. But if we step back and reflect, what we are talking of here is only what we see at the surface. So today in the arena with Rajnish, moving on from the previous episode where we saw how origin of culture happens in an organization, let's dive deep and see what is below this visible layer of culture. Think of a garden. What do you see? We see beautiful flowers, we see greenery, we see well laid out plants. But what we don't see is the quality of soil, the water beneath, and above all, the effort and care that has gone into creating that garden. That effort is responsible for the visible outcome of beautiful flowers. Culture in organization is similar to that. What we see as culture is only the visible outcome of the effort and pains that have gone in. And therefore, if as an organization you want to copy the good culture of another organization without understanding what lies beneath the surface, chances are that you're not going to reproduce the same outcomes in your organization. And this is where Edgar Schein gives us a very powerful lens. He looks at culture in three layers. At the layer one are the artifacts, what we can see, the processes, the behaviors, the structures. This is where leaders stop. At level 2 are espoused values, the values, beliefs that the organization believes in. It's the vision, the strategy, the values that is communicated to the teams. And at level 3 are the unspoken beliefs, things that teams actually believe in. This is the real culture. These are the deeply said, unspoken beliefs that guide the day-to-day actions of the team. And we see here that culture is operating at multiple levels. What we see on the top, the behaviors and the outcomes, is one level of culture. But what decides and shapes the behaviors is what lies beneath. And therefore, to copy a culture of an organization without understanding what lies beneath is not possible. Let me share with you a simple example. In an organization where sales are going down, as you examine, you find that the teams are not collaborating with each other and people are focused on their individual targets. So at surface level, it is very easy to deduce that we need better teamwork. But as you go into details, you find that in this organization, over the years, individual performance has been incentivized. People have been promoted and rewarded based on their individual sales numbers. And therefore, the focus of individuals in the sales team was on their own personal contribution. And if you want to make that shift towards collective working of the salespeople and teamwork, you need to change the underlying structures and create structures that support a particular behavior. In my personal life, I also experienced this when I had a plant where all departments were doing brilliantly, at least on paper, as far as their KPIs were concerned. But collectively, the plant was not doing well. What we saw was that people were focused on departmental excellence and achieving targets rather than organizational targets and goals. So we had to make a shift, created KPIs which were across the spectrum, applicable for all departments, brought in collaboration, and started rewarding performance of the plant as a whole. And this slowly made the shift of people from departmental focused results to the factory and the plant focused results. We can say that the culture evolves through the actions leaders take, the consequences they create, and the traditions that follow. And therefore, what we see at the surface as culture is consistently reinforced below the surface by actions of the leaders. And when a leader says that there is something wrong with my culture, the real question is not what do I see, but the real question to ask is what is driving what I see? What are the underlying assumptions? What are the beliefs, behaviors, structures, and reinforcements that I, as a leader, am creating to get the outcome that I see? In the next episode, we'll move forward and see the subcultures that exist within an organization. Till then, bye bye, Jai Hind.